Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome in if you're new. My name's Chris. This is Horse Racing Manager, the upcoming horse racing and stable management game from Sheep Meadow Road Games over in Finland, little indie team. And I've I've come to a realization. This is, by the way, oh my God, it's an even newer one. I didn't even realize. I was going to say that we're up to 0.5.5.2 because it's had a few updates since the version I was playing. Um, but yeah, it's actually got an even newer one. Training graphs not recording changes. Change how training fees work to be more reliable. For pedigree has a start horse, show its pedigree as unknown. Okay. Okay. So yeah, just small fixes. A fix for a crash, which they were also fixing here, um, as well. So you can see multiple in back-to-back days. The last one I played a little bit on 0.55, and I would say we're up to 0.553 as we're getting little bug fix updates rather than new versions. So it's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. But yeah, going back to what I was saying, I came to a realization, and I've been a little careful not to really mention starters orders and some other games in the kind of space. I don't really want to compare them because I think they're both attacking from a different point of view, and they're both really good at different things. And there's very little overlap, which is really weird for horse racing, stable management kind of games. It's kind of weird that there's as little overlap as there actually is. Um, and I think it's fitting that Sheep Meadow Road Games has come out and said that, they didn't believe that there was a game quite like this one on the market. And there was plenty that they felt could and should be in a game of this caliber and this nature that just wasn't really out there. And there's, Winning Post and a couple of others, and some of those are region locked that they're really good. There's some like pretty good mobile games for what they are, but they're very limited because they're mobile games. But like what they do well, and um, Status Orders does the same thing. But for me, I can only play Status Orders in a certain way, and I'll quantify that by also saying that it's not the intended way to be played, but I find my own way to play and enjoy it. And I think Horse Racing Manager the same. I very much play a certain style which fits my preferences, and I think that's fine. And I've got to give it up. The Horse Racing Manager is kind of designed to do that. There's a plethora of options. They're going to add more. I think Stars Orders 8 is going to do the same. I think it's only fair to mention that too. Um, but yeah, it really is. It isn't about how we've made this game for you to play. It's we've made this game so that you can play it however you want. And I really appreciate that, but I do that to an extreme degree sometimes because that's just the style and the way I want to play. And a big part of me posting videos on YouTube is to teach everybody how to play that style, why it works, why I enjoy it, and why I think you might like it too. So there is that. I also realized with my struggles on a jump save, especially in starters orders, that once I step outside of my comfort zone in that game, I'm not enjoying playing it unless I'm winning races. Because I know my horses are good. I know that what I do really well. And it's really focusing on the breeding program to make monsters and then winning races. And if that doesn't happen, then I either feel like the game's cheating me, or I'm really bad at the game, and it really hits my morale and my desire to keep going. I don't enjoy the grindy aspects. I've never enjoyed grinding for anything in game. Pointless time sinks and pointless filler is just not there for me. Even in role playing games, the fetch quests, the NPC escort missions, like just no, I don't care. I just don't care. Why are we gamekeeping it so that your game is longer and your game has more in it than it needs to, just so that you can say it's got a 40-hour campaign instead of a 30, or a 20-hour campaign instead of a 15. Like, no, it's bad game design, it's bad storytelling, and it provides a bad experience to the consumer. Something that when they see it in games, we groan and we're like, oh, not this, why? Like long tutorial sections, also another thing. So, too much reading in games for a lot of people also hits that mark. Um, so yeah, I think it's one of those things where you kind of got to balance, but you just need to let the game shine where it shines, and not try and artificially mess with things to offer more than really you can offer. And that being said, I don't think Stars Orders does that, and I don't think Horse Racing Manager does that. But there will be elements of grind for money, and both of those in both games can be bypassed to a certain degree with breeding. And that's not a bad thing, because that's kind of how real horse racing is done as well. Unless you've got a ton of money going in, then one of the ways you can make money and slowly try and snowball yourself into a bigger player in the market is going to be by setting up a breeding farm. And yeah, you breed, you spend your initial money on the facilities and a good stud and maybe a couple of good brood mares, or just brood mares and lease a stud in, or vice versa. And agree to keep some of those foals, and you sell some foals, and that pays for everything and puts you on to the next year where you can keep doing it, and that small bit of profit you're making is stacking up, and you can buy more stock, and the exponential growth begins. Now, that's real life and gameplay a viable strategy, and that's what a lot of people in real life have done and continue to do. They don't actually get into racing very much because that's so unpredictable. And to be honest with you, if they sell a good racer and it goes on to win, that's amazing advertisement for their breeding program and their stud farm and the brood mares they've got and so on and so forth. So, like, why wouldn't you? So, I don't think it's bad that we can get around the grindy stuff in the game by breeding. I will say it's a little easy in both. It's annoying in both sometimes. I don't think it's unfairly difficult. I do think that a little more obfuscation about how good horses actually are would be good in both, and a little more obfuscation in or slight randomness in breeding would be good in both. Although I think they've both actually got good systems for that. But like I say, when it comes to starters orders, unless I'm playing the start it mod, unless I'm playing a flat save, and unless I have the Kentucky Derby to aim for, I need to win so much to kind of keep interested. And that's nothing, it's the game, that's me, that's my mentality, and that's my my kind of preference and everything else. Horse Racing Manager, I'm not at the stage yet where I need to win. But I also think that is tied to the fact that there aren't big races and that there isn't the Kentucky Derby. There's nothing fully to aim for. To be honest with you, at the moment, the way the game works, I want to win races. I just don't care what those races are. I don't care anything about them. Just, yeah, just let the game book races, and we'll see if we can win. Now that being said, we have won some races on a bunch of these horses. We do look pretty good, and I kind of want to walk you through this save, which has been. Oops. I didn't mean to do that. I'm still my brain sees button wants to click. Yeah, I'm not sure if we did just take someone out of the race. But yeah, so ultimately, like this save, I was struggling for a while. I really was. Both games also have the issue where if you don't want to grind for money, you don't want to be limited by money, then just bet money. Bet money. Even if you don't have money in the bank to bet money. Go into debt, bet money. Do whatever you can. Because, yeah, I had two runners that I felt were good. They were definitely top three in each race. I think one of them was, I would have been surprised if they hadn't have won, and one was, I would have been surprised if they didn't come top three. But I fully sent on each of them. I had like 200 grand in the bank, and I had a bit of money myself. I transferred over the money. I bet on my first horse, and we won. I bet as much as I could. Then I transferred some money over. I bet, and I transferred more money over, and I bet, and it came back to us in a huge amount, and that's absolutely fine. I threw money back. I threw a lot of money after this back in, and I put money back over. I've been moving stuff around, which I think is kind of cool to have. But we did get big money moves, and then we spent it on all the facilities. I think it's a little game breaking to be able to do that as well. But yeah, we got some really good horses, and one of the best we've had is Crystal Lake Sirocco, who's only a 3.5-star potential. It's not like this is a monster horse. You can see the current stats don't look amazing either. But 6 wins, career earnings of 1.3. We only bought the horse for 1.5. We're breeding from her massive amounts of value. And yeah, before this year, they were a racer for us. Now they've moved into the breeding program, and it didn't get us much. But even for a 3-star, we could sell this horse for a lot of money. And we did. We sold for 4.7 million at the start of this year. And so I think we'll quickly get to a point where we eliminate the grind on this game due to money. I do think that maybe the money for young horses should be less. A little less. I don't know why I get 4.7 for a 3-star horse. It's probably tied to the fact that it's Sirocco's full. And I get that. That is semi-realistic, but I think also if you're not going to obfuscate the ability and potential very much, which they don't for any horse in the game. This isn't my horse. This is just totally unobfuscated. But yeah, the horse I sold for 4.7 million, I can get a horse that's a year older for about the same amount of money. That's a 4-star potential, not a 3-star potential. So I do think some kind of balance in there would be good. Just because otherwise it's too easy to get a bunch of good horses. So if we look down to Donald Zane, that's all the 4 stars, right? That's our horse. Prince Weathercaster is our horse. I haven't gone after all these because I don't really want to. At the same time, I don't think I need to. So I got a 2-year-old colt and a 2-year-old filly, both of which we purchased 4.3 million for what looks like a very good 2-year-old in the making. And 4.3 for a very good filly, who we haven't bought that long ago, to be fair. That was the start of this year. So, yeah, you can see that, they'll start racing next year, but they'll also both be eligible for breeding next year. I can breed those two together and probably get a really good foal out of them. And if it is a really good foal, we could sell that foal and actually pay for both of these horses at 8.6 million combined, plus their lifetime cost to us, which is probably only another million at the most in total. So for 10 million, I could set up to be absolutely dominant in terms of these two, and probably make that back from 1 or 2 falls, even if they're not very, very good falls. So I think there's some adjustments that need to be happening. We're not even in early access yet, so again, we've got to kind of take that into account. But I have enjoyed this save because, like I say, we've run Sirocco, has done fantastic. We've been breeding from some older horses and selling to kind of survive with those. We haven't kept too many. I think it's good if we do this. And I brought in Elixir to be a little bit of a breeder for 1.8 million, a bit above value, but we kind of like this horse. And yeah, he's winning a couple of races lately. Not good races, not graded races, nothing special. But we're moving in the right direction. And we're able to use him to breed from people until Prince Weathercaster does come of age. I mean, got horses then like Jade Coral, who is doing okay and is working their way up the rankings in a domestic grade 1. We bought for 2.1. Yeah, we're already worth a lot more. It's not even a 4-star potential horse. We could sell and get more money back. I think that's the case with 99% of our horses. And we're just holding time for these two. And then we've got a couple of solid fillies at 3.5 stars. And then new foals, 2 colts, 2 fillies. But again, looking at the prices here, you can see exactly why we could sell and get another Zane and Weathercaster quite quickly and quite easily. They'd be better horses, both now and potentially and be able to breed, if I could get another two-year-old fillies and sell these two, I probably would. There's not really much reason not to. But like I say, I'm enjoying the breeding. I'm enjoying the differences in this game. And we are winning some races. But I don't care that the Royal Founders Oaks, like, what? Okay. Who cares? What do we got? We got Jade in a grade 1. We're far from favourite. We are the best horse. It's races like this that you can bet on and earn a lot of money. I don't think we're going to win, even though we're the best horse. And we're being ridden by a bad jockey. So, there is that. I don't know why we're not being ridden by us, who's actually one of the best jockeys in the game. We got a very high jockey stat. But yeah, we are pretty good. We're well off our distance, which means Groove Vivid is going to be the best distance horse. It is an endurance horse. And everyone else is as good as us or not. Like, there is a chance that we could win this. Oh, I need to pick the horse. Don't know why I thought we had. So yeah, for 300 grand, I can bet and we'll win the 6.7 again. So again, we can put a decent chunk of money that we don't really worry about. Being the best horse in the field and the second best, at least jointly, in distance is crazy. Now, our odds have gone down. We just cost ourselves $1 million with each of those bids, but like, who cares if we win, right? Now, that being said, I think we can all tell already that we're not going to win. We're back, we're being distanced, and our stamina is falling off a cliff. We will finish third, but we do finish a minute behind the winner. But yeah, to be honest with you, I thought we'd finish around third. We did just lose a bunch of money, but it's not the end of the world, and we could have been absolutely fine. That would have set us up very, very well. But like, that win doesn't hurt me and worry me, because I know I don't have to win to develop my horses, and I know that now we've bet a little bit and won, money is going to be okay for at least this season. We're going to get another, unless we have some deaths here, we're going to get another 7 foals because all these are pregnant. And moving into next season, we could sell Elixir Violet and go with Prince Weathercaster as our sire. And that's absolutely fine. That's great. I quite like that. So yeah, I'm not feeling any jeopardy with the races. I'm not finding any attachment with the races. And you go, Weathercaster does win in a juvenile. So it's not a big race, but it's a little juvenile. Okay. Not bad. 3 in a row. And then Elixir Violet in a senior race again wins. That's 4 in a row. A really low graded race for sure. But But yeah, also if I'm skipping time, I do find it quite easy to do in this game. There we go. I mean, how much have you won? Your career earnings are 240k. We've just got a sixth of that back. Or we just made a sixth of that on one cover. Because someone wanted to breed from my horse, which is not the best horse in the world, but is good enough and might provide a good foal or two to add to the game bred barns and kind of, who knows, maybe they breed strongly, because you get a rough approximation of what potential foal you're going to get, but it can be as much as a star and a half, I believe, away from the average potential of the two horses, from what I've seen. And there we go. There's another one. There's 43 grand there. So just having this horse in there has actually been good for us. And again, Jade Corral. No, we look like this is a race we should win, right? And nobody's on a better distance than us, and we are a good horse. Again, this is one we could win and should win. Maybe we don't, because it's Jade. But even that, we can triple our money in case, we come first, second, or third. I think for 600k, take us down to 3 million. Again, we're fine on money. This is kind of money we can afford to lose and be totally fine. We can get 2.2 back, so we're not always going to win. We'll tell really early how we're going to do, and we're not going to do too badly. They've got better stamina than us. That's what's going to kill us in this. The fact that we're so far ahead of everybody and we're losing ground on the lead, that means we're never going to catch Shakespeare Majesty. We can already tell. There's half the race back, but we know exactly how this is going to end. And again, we didn't win, but we got 75k from it. That's the closest we've come to a grade 1 on this horse. We've got 2 third places. We've got a second place. We're moving in the right direction. We're developing quite well. We know kind of what this horse could be. Almost 400k here. And again, 7 months ago, we spent 2 million on this horse. We can get more than double that back. But we can also just breed from it and be in a very good position there. So, yeah. I think there's a definite way to play this early on. Oh, and that money did come through. That money did come through. And probably, it looks like we gained twice the money, maybe 3 times the money than expected, which means maybe our odds changed. It doesn't show. It'd be nice to have an inbox message to show you the bet. There is one. There will be one, like in a couple of days, where it's going to show you the wrong bets. But when we look at the facilities, we look at the finance and the income, you can see we actually got a bet payout there of 5.9 million. And I think we were 2.2. So, yeah. When we bet, that lowered the odds of our horses. So instead of the maybe 4 million we were going to get, we shortened our own odds down by placing that bet to 2.2. And then other bets in the game didn't, of course, go on our horse. And so not only did we go back up to about that 4 million, we went a bit above towards that 5.9. That's the only way I can think about it that makes sense to me. But yeah, we're gonna get a bunch. So again, as long as we keep betting on our horses in good positions, not even to win, then that's fine. And again, we can kind of increase this curve by saying age is between, what do I want to do here? Between 3 for sure, because we can breed from 3-year-olds. To 8, maybe? Let's go down to 6. What kind of have we got here? And we will go to max ability is at least 285. Okay. I mean, $280. So that seems to be 3.5 or above. That's what we're looking for. And so we ignore the top 2 because they're colts. We ignore Jade Coral because it's our own. We ignore Tradewind Star because it's pregnant. Soroka's also ours, but is pregnant. We don't want pregnant horses. And so Fire Jolly and Bolt Touch would be the 2 we'd want to buy. They're worth a lot of money. So it's really not worth it. But I can spend money here. There's a reason why I've bought all these horses, because they're all super cheap and whatnot. Deceased is no. Okay, there we go. That's a much more manageable field. So yeah, we got Tradewind Star, who looks really, really good. Then we got these 2 that are already pregnant. And so that's kind of the issue. There isn't anyone we can pick up. I don't want to go down to 265. That's the problem. Is I want horses that aren't dead, that aren't pregnant, and that are female, so I can breed from them. And 3-star, 3.5-star or above. And they don't exist because we're late in the season, so many of them are pregnant. If I just took that way, there's a much more, many more we could go for. 2 we could go for, but yeah, they just don't exist. What I want just doesn't exist. Because we've made our money late in the season. But I think we've bought all our facilities now, so it is just buying horses. And we're going to get even more money because we're going to be selling horses. So, that's fine. 3rd place for Jade Corral as a domestic grade 1. Absolutely fine. We're about 2 months from the end of the season. And we can kind of see it's slowing down. So It's either auto-saving or it's booking a race or it's doing something in the background. So we just wait for it to tick forward a couple of days and we can stop simulation and see, do we have a message? Is there something to deal with? Doesn't normally go there. I mean, it's got like the date of the first, so that is sometimes a reason, but it doesn't look like anything popped up. That's absolutely fine. It could be autosave. That is one of the biggest kind of optimizations I think that they need to make, and that's something they're well aware of. I'll try and stop the simulation now. About a month out from the end. There you go. And Jade just won her first grade 1. Now her value is going to be around about 3 times what we paid for her. Jade just won a very, very nice domestic grade 1. Not only that, but won it by some distance. You look at that time. That's a big gap. That's a big gap. Yeah, so it's not going to book us in any races. That's absolutely fine. What's this star again? Good performance at preferred distance. Yeah, mile 4 is what we like. And there are some mile 4s. They're grade 2s, but they do exist. And there are empty races, but there's not much point in showing empty races. Yeah, so the most prize money on distance, I do think that's something we should look at. We'll go forward the 2 weeks. We'll set ourselves up then for one final race this season with Jade Coral. And at the end of the 4-year-old season, moving into the breeding barn, and that means that we've got Sirocco and Coral. We're both grade 1s. We've both got pretty high values, but we can breed from them for the foreseeable future. And again, we should be the best horse in the field. We should win this. We don't need to bet. But it's a full star, and like, why wouldn't we? I can get 8 million for trying to put 1 million on this race. And it is a race we should win. Doesn't mean we will win, but we should. And yeah, the stamina versus distance left isn't too bad. We're kind of slowing down slightly, but we're keeping it quite a lot. It looks like we've got like full race announcing as well. But we're so far ahead. We're a furlong ahead at the end. We dipped down back into a grade 2. We won. We didn't get our 8 million. We got our 5.6. But we got money. We just got money. Yeah. Solid win. And so, yeah, if you want an absolute monster horse, is there anything over this side that I really care about? Not really. Yeah, that's absolutely fine for me. Um, yeah, if we're looking at it like 4-star or above, right? We've got R2 here. We've got our filly and our colt at 2-year-olds. Could go for more colts. Really, what stands out to me are the fillies. It'd be tight if we were to try and buy these now, but we could buy these now. Timberlake Keen. Yeah, I mean, we could definitely get them, but we wouldn't be able to get either of these. Or we could get one of these and burn even more money and not be able to get a second. Uh, it'd be tempting. 8.7 and 6.7. It's a lot of money. It's going to put us in debt, like a lot in debt. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So we got fake betting news, but then 8.7, we get Hermes Crimson Valley, who's a yearling, is worth a lot of money, is a 4-star. It's not going to come into play for a couple of years, but it is what it is. And then 6.7 million for Timberlake Keen. That does now mean that in a few years' time we'll have Prince Weathercaster with Donald Zane, Timberlake Keen, and Hermes all as 4-star breeders. That does mean also we can sell most of these horses if we needed to. Especially Sky Dadism and Decrescendo Explorer. We're only 3.5 stars. And I could get like 13 million for the pair, and I just paid 14.5 for these two, so 1.5 million to upgrade 2 3.5-star potentials into 2 4-star potentials, which is not dynamic, it is fixed. I also, though, do want to keep these because, yeah, if you kind of ignore everyone from Weathercaster down, so when Weathercaster is our primary breeder, you're then looking at a breeding barn of Donald Zane, Arpeggio Rocky, Sky Dadism, Hermes Crimson Valley, Timberlake Keen, and Decrescendo or Explorer. And it's only going to put us 500,000 in the bank. And that's going to put us about 1 million in debt. and that's going to keep us okay to the end of the season. We've kind of put our money back over. So with the betting, with a loan, with our own cash, moving stuff about, we just got 2 monster horses. And I'm a big fan of that. And the only thing that really needs to be done is to make sure that we don't forget to have Jade bred. And we could breed from anybody, and there's some maybe interesting horses in here you can see. Really, these are the only ones that matter to me. Are these 4. So 3.5 star potentially with this kind of weight. Who was that? Enchanted, I think. Was that Pebbles? That was Pebbles. Okay. This again looks really good. Looks okay. It's really good. Low speed is the issue. We're just good all round. We're not great anyway. We're good all round, and it's free. So, like, we'll just use our own stallion and get Jade bred up as well. That's all we can do. Let's figure out an auction. Yeah. But that's not a bad one to be going in. Elixir Violet. Here, register. So reserve price of 1.2. I think the starting price of 850k makes sense to me. And then you can buy him now for 1.5 million. I think that's what we're gonna do. Oh. I think that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go watch this.
This represents the pinnacle of quality.
And we're gonna sell
you, sir. You're in looking for a new
and see what we do.
Come on, come on. Now come on, going twice. Final opportunity.
So we just need to get more than 1.2. And there we go. We've hit the reserve.
Let's see it. Come on.
So I kind of want 1.4 plus. We paid 1.8. And we got a ton of free breeding out of him, plus a few runs. So it's not too bad. Yeah, looks like we just get the 1.3. So not as much as we wanted for sure, but it's right in there. But yeah, the only reason to do that was because the auction was super early. He's not going to get better. He's not going to win too much more. We might as well get rid of him. And then just pay back the full 750k. That puts us in solid place. And it also means in a few days' time, we're going to get our falls in. I'm going to pay full. So, yeah, we're not running enough horses to kind of be the top stable, the top trainer, or the top jockey. That's kind of it. And you know, that's what's happening here. It looks like the 2-year-old champions, though, Prince Weathercaster was the top 2-year-old colt. Which is kind of cool. That's the first time we've actually been on one of these lists. Took 3 juveniles. Won quite well. Looks like a very solid horse that's... Yeah. In a good place. And I don't know why we're seeing double of those now. We're seeing double of these reports. Not really sure why. So we got a little 3.5. Not the best in the world, but a little 3.5. It's worth changing their names, by the way. Then we got a 2.5, but you can see the price is almost exactly the same. This colt is much worse. And maybe it's just that we know that and they don't, but that's definitely going to be a horse to sell for 3 million. And that one's like a really low-rated horse or low-valued horse. Same with that one. Same with that one. It's a grey as 3.5. It doesn't seem too bad. There's a second bonus email. Make sure we clear that. There are no bonuses. Yeah, I mean, we can breed from all these. We can also breed with Donald at the end of the season. Everybody breeding from Prince Weathercaster. And that gives us all these good horses. But I think the number one thing to do is, before anything else, is to get rid of these 6 horses. And it's going to be probably 1.4 million. So 2.842 7 million for those 5. 7 million, then probably 3 years. So yeah, this is probably 10 million from 6 horses that are never going to be great. And if you remember, we bought Timberlake and Hermes Crimson Valley for like 14.5. So 4.5 plus these horses, like, vastly improve us. And I think that's kind of the imbalance of this whole thing right now. We're going to register for auction. And then we're just going to set everybody in. You're going for... Yeah, you're going for... 1.3 to 1.5. You're going for 2.8 to 3.2. One, 3, 1, 5. Yeah, I didn't actually set. I wish if you put something in there, either it would ask you if you want to register for an auction, or when you click this, it didn't reset these fields. I wish that was a thing. Oh, yeah. Control and C. Doesn't really work, does it? I want to copy and paste, damn it. But Control and C brings up the console. I wonder if I turn that off. Now I can control and pace. Okay, that's something to be interested in as well with the console. Um, yeah, that's very interesting. I think that was lithograph. Just realism. Okay. Just gotta keep double checking because, like, it seems to reset, and I don't really know why. I don't know if it'll affect the price at all, but like, I don't want there to be any issues. Um, so yeah, I don't want there to be any issues. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's any good horses there, so we're gonna breed with Prince Hugh. I think he's gonna be an absolute monster stud. Just make sure that we're not breeding with. Oh, have I already bred with? Donald Zane? No. I was smart. I didn't pin them for breeding. Okay, okay. That makes me feel so much better. That means I can't mess this up at all. Well, I can. I 100% can, of course. Don't believe me, just watch. So we might fail a little breeding now and again. I also do think it should take time to breed. But yeah, we've got Jade Coral, Crystal Lake, Sirocco are 2 grade 1s. Cacophony, Donald are grade 3. And then Peanut, Barometer, Franklin Thunder, Frosty Ethereal, who's been my best breeder to date, I think. Folk Eklong and Midnight Bit. So we got some older horses breeding, but they're breeding with a true stud. At the end of the season, Donald Zane will join the breeding barn just to breed once. Let's, excuse me, pin them for breeding. And those two are going to be racing this year. Nobody else is racing this year because we might get a couple of 2-year-old races. That's about it. But yeah, we are going to see all these absolutely disappear. And we'll be in really good shape then, to be honest with you. There you go. Also forgot that we do need to train people. I think we might wait. Does Rocky win? No, Rocky comes last. Don't know why, but they do. But yeah, like I said, I'm not like super worried about it. Weathercaster comes second. Donald Zane comes third. So we got a second and a third. It's actually not bad. It's not bad. So yeah, Rocky was just absolutely terrible. That's fine. Weathercaster came second. Donald come third. Kind of okay with that. So it's the 10th we want. It's the 10th. on to the next auction, because this is where our horses are actually listed. I know it's time to build that prize money. Wow. Wow. 140 rated. Multiple grade 1 winner. Earned 12 million in career earnings. Is worth 30. Is the 4-year-old champion horse, which is probably where all the money's come from. Huh. What other things has he got? Just that. Okay. Really interesting. Not really kind of what I'm looking for. Yeah, Rainbow Rocky is the most expensive of our horses. So yeah, 1.4 million from everyone else. And then Rocky at about 3 million. That would kind of impress me. I want to see how much Luminosity goes for.
This illustrious specimen is now available. A rare
So yeah, 12.9 opening bid.
Yep, we got a new bid. Well, a future legend awaits your bid.
30 million is kind of where they wanted to be.
All right, let's give a round of applause for our successful bidder.
40 million.
Value here. Who's bidding? It's up. All right, we're making progress. Now the next bid could be the winner.
40.8.
Right here, right now. Who's
That's
next?
nuts.
Yeah, right here, right now. Who's next? Well, that's a way to do it. A strong
horse.
show of interest.
So we want 3 million.
Strong value here. Who's bidding?
And we can't bid on our own horses.
Shrewd move. Bidding more ends with a buyout. Strong value here. Who's bidding?
Got 3.1.
Hey, come on. This will eat less than you dog.
3.2.
We've got interest at this level, but I need a and it's sold.
That'll do me.
Take out anything it says twice. Oh, investors in greatness.
And then, yeah, we want 1.4.
Strong value here. Who's
They're taking the buyout.
Buyout has been achieved.
They're taking the buyout. That's the first time I've ever seen the buyout being taken. Could have probably got more, which means we probably could have got more for all of these horses.
Hey, what a move. The buyout.
But I'm happy 1.5 from them. I had them at 1.4. So that's an extra 500,000.
Now that's
10.5, 10.7.
Yep, we got an, and that's all.
10.7. We were expecting 10 million. 5 horses. Yeah, 5 horses with 100k each extra. And then our top end horse had 200k extra.
Bid more ends. Well, that game's over. Someone
Oh.
exercises the buyout option.
They went
Well,
above
it's
the
what you've been
buyout.
waiting for. This remarkable young runner is up for auction.
10.8.
Well, this horse embodies racing royalty. Stakes are rising. Who's feet? Well, that game's over. Someone exercises
That
the
should be
buyout
everybody.
option. First warning.
That should be everybody. Boom. 11.5 million in the bank, which our career earnings at 2.8. I think we started with 2 in the bank. Let's go ahead. We just give, I think, 1.4 million. Give 1.6 back to ourselves. So we've now got our money back. And yeah, 1.5 million. Pretty good. 1.6. Right up that top end. Another 1.5 there. 1.5. 1.5. So we're right up the top end of our value of horses that we just didn't like. And then 3.2 out of the potential 3.5 for Rainbow Rocky. I'm pretty happy with that. And again, we've already got our 8 horses bred from a very good colt. We got 2 really good 3-year-olds to run this year. We'll get some runs out of Rocky and Spirit, who I think will be good over time. And then we've got a bunch of 1-year-olds, a bunch of yearlings, and a couple of newborn foals, including a couple of 4 stars. So we're in such a good position right now. And if we needed money, like I say, these two could be sold for pretty good money. And even Sirocco and Coral could be picked up for pretty good money too. Don't really need the Colts at all. So yeah, that's ours. Could now go and dump all my money on another good yearling filly. The one that we missed. But again, I think the best thing to do here is probably look. But again, everybody's actually pregnante really quickly, which means I can't breed with my horse. Yeah, Bolt Touch just became stupidly expensive. Fire Jolly probably is just outside of our range. Don't really want to buy horses that aren't that good. We kind of have the best horses in the game right now. We got Timberler Keen. We got Hermes Crimson Valley. And then we got Zane and Weathercaster. Do we really need more than that? I don't know. I don't think so. I'd love to go in for a young colt, but that money don't make sense to me. That money doesn't make sense to me. I mean, Whispering Pines probably makes the most sense. If I'm going in to buy someone. Not even as a breeder, but just as a racer. Maybe. Yeah, I'm already at the point where I don't think I should buy anyone. I just don't think it's worthwhile. Let me get my screenshot going on, and we'll take a look then at what we got going on. I think maybe it's worth doing a complete reset here of the staff. Set everyone up on a balanced wellness schedule, because that's the lowest risk schedule, and it still develops horses okay. Breeding barn, high quality. Everyone else is elite. And let's clear everybody out. Cool. Okay, so yeah, I think I need to take charge of 4 people here. Weathercaster and Zane, 100%. And then Mare Spirit and a Peugeot Rocky. I think that's fine. So I need a trainer and a stable hand. I need a trainer and a stable hand. So we're going to steal Kimberly. I don't hate that. It's going to cost 1.1 million, but again, Wilbur's going to come in and do a good job. So she is definitely the younger horses. Wilbur's slightly better. So Wilbur, Roxanne, and Tim is the good one. Tim and Wilbur is kind of what we're looking for. Okay. Let's go with Wilbur. Wilbur. Hermes and Timberlake are the 4 stars, right? I believe that's right. So we can just roll with Tim. None of these can race, so we don't even need to put them in as jockeys. That's an issue for next time. And then we're going to have Roxanne and Kimberly taking care of these. That's good. Okay. So the 4 runners are all me. I'm in charge of our 4 runners this season. We've got Wilbur and Tim to take care of our 2 top prospects and 2 of the others. Maybe we should, yeah, we should change. We should change those 2. Because then that's got at least a colt and a filly on both sides as 1-year-olds. That's absolutely fine. Yeah, we got our 2 top prospects, then a colt and a filly and the Wilbur Wright and Tim Golden. They can't run, so we don't care. And then we got our 2 other options here, being Prance Zinc is a colt and Sky Datism is a filly. And then we got our 2 brand new foals. Interstellar's a filly, Coastal is a colt. So we're kind of spreading them out a little bit in that way as well. But again, they can't race. So everybody here that's developing gets great care and has good people in charge of them. When it comes to the actual racers, we are in charge. And that's all we need to do. That's our setup for the entire season. We've already bred 8 horses. Now, any of these could die. So we might get a news item on that at some point. But I do like, even if it's only these 4, I do like these 4 as breeders. End the season, like I said, Donald Zane will also be bred from. And we've got the best stud that we've ever had, which should make an impact in getting better horses in. And then next season, we've got 2 more to breed from. And then the season after, we've got 4 more to breed from, including 2 4-stars. And the year after that, we've got another one to breed from as well, unless we buy more along the way. But we're set up really well. They're unhappy that we have poached a couple of people, but I'm okay with that. I'm absolutely okay with that. We've got a ton of money in the bank. When we started this save, we started with 10 million in the stable and 2 million in our cash. So we have bought absolutely everything in terms of facilities that we need to, apart from some like stable space. We can buy out more if we can. Some stuff's not even implemented. We can buy it though, because why not? We would, in effect. Yep, big money. So yeah, we've bought everything apart from the full stable upgrades and the quarantine upgrades, which just would take way too long for me to click, and I can't be bothered. We shouldn't need them anyway. But that's all the money that we can spend up front and draining. And we started, like I say, with 2 million in our personal and 10 million in the stable funds. So with all of these purchases and 8 broodmares, a racing broodmare, a racing stud, and then 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 horses for the future, who all look pretty good to very good. And we're down 200k on our own side and 3.2. And that's it. We're back up to starting position. We've eliminated the grind. We've eliminated a lot of issues that I would have playing the game. It's done by betting. It's done by moving money creatively around. It's done by good sales and setting up the breeding and doing certain things in certain ways to kind of maximize your effect, and buying older horses really, really cheap and just getting foals you can sell for millions every season. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. So I don't think there's too much more to say. We're in a really good place. We're about to kick on. Like I say, our first 4-star potential horse is in the mix and is ready to breed and race this season as a 3-year-old. Usually horses peak around 4 or 5. So we're still a little ways away from seeing that. We've not raced a 5-year-old, actually, because, you know, Sirocco and then Coral both went into the breeding barn at 5, and we stopped racing them. Even though they were doing well and earned a lot of money and were worth a lot of money, yeah, I'm still kind of going younger, because I do feel that these, either this year or next year, all of these are gone. Maybe even Donald and Barometer. So we definitely need to start adding more young mares back into the barn. And yeah, like I say, 3-year-olds and up can do that. And so the more money we earn, I think we're going to be spending on some younger mares to come in. 2 and 3-year-olds, I think, would be great. Even just newborns, because that would fill up the slots over the next couple of years. Like I say, 2 in this year, 4 in that year. We get another couple in that year. We can just start moving things and getting younger inside the breeding barn to really kick on. And then if there is a monster available for 40, 50 million, we could possibly even try and get them. So I'm pretty happy, but like I say, I do feel right now, if you look at it, from where the cast are up are the 4-star potential horses, and we've got 2 out of 4, 2 out of 8, 4 out of 10, So 4 out of 13. And to be fair, these newborns are just not in our price range at all. Just nowhere near in our price range. But we could add a couple of others in. Like I say, Luna for 5 million could definitely be on the table. Same with Fearless, Zeppelin, Snickers Inferno could be as well. Whispering Pines. So we're looking at these values, and you're probably going like 110, 100%, 120% of the average, which would be like 4.2 to 4.3 for Whispering Pines. We could do that and have enough money to pay for the rest of the seasons, for example. So that's like a no-brainer pickup. But I think when we start looking at fillies then that are 3.5 star of about the right age, like this to me kind of makes sense. That we want another 3-year-old. So why not do it? Like, why not do it? Is 3-year-old. And is a filly. And that gives us this list of horses to buy from. So we've got ours there. We've just put a little bid in on Opal Strong-Willed, who'll be a very good racer this year and not too bad elsewhere. And you can see the values. You could go quite expensive. But I think that's a really good pickup. Syncopation is also very similar. Those two make a ton of sense for me. If I go 2-year-old, again, the cheaper ones are pure, but we can get 1 or 2 of them. And again, for not stupid amounts of money, I think that's 2 3-year-olds and a 2-year-old we can line up. So then we'd have 4 fillies at 2 years of age. We'd have 2 fillies at 3 years of age that would go into the breeding barn at the end of this season. And then race at 4 go into the barn at the end. Race at 5 go into the barn at the end. That's kind of the idea of it. But I'd at least have extras. As these all age out, we're pushing these then towards that 10, 11, 12 where they disappear. By having Zane and someone their age, Spirit and Rocky with another 2 their age, having these 4 fillies, and then we can start looking at even younger horses after that. And just year on year, I think we can add 1 or 2 horses at least to the barn and keep refreshing it and keep making an absolute ton of money. That's kind of the plan. So, yeah, let's go forward in a week to end things with the possible addition of 3 of these horses for like 5.1 million, somewhere around there. We should have over 1.5 in the bank. Yeah, 5.1. Yeah, we just lost a ton of money. 1.5, 3.3, 4.8, so slightly less. But yeah, that's why I was thinking we'd have like 1.5 in the bank. We end up with 1.9 in the bank. But we've got a bunch of horses. Now, the only problem is now we want to race those 3-year-olds. Do we want to race those 3-year-olds? I don't think so. Wilbur Tim, Elite. And I think Opal can run. Yeah, Opal can probably win some races. Beethoven can win some races. Do we downgrade Marie? I think we downgrade. I think we downgrade Marie. That's the most we can do right now. Then is 2. Opal. Yeah, Opal, Donald, Prince, and Beethoven are ours with a Peugeot mixed in. Which is fine. Just the best of my 2-year-olds. But then Zane and Marie also need jockeys. So now we need to find ourselves a jockey then. Don't know why I went all the way over here, because hey, it's a jockey, a 73-year-old and a 78-year-old jockey. That also needs to be fixed pretty badly. But a 25-year-old, that's not bad. We'd have to pay big money, 65. So yeah, we might as well just go for the 64, who's free. Liana. She can come back to us. Absolutely fine. She can come back to us. It's going to cost us quite badly, really. Liana. Should really put a Peugeot there as well. Because these are the best. These are the 3-year-olds. These are the ones we should be going for. It's got us down as 5. Sorry, 7 or 5 when we don't have those, and it's not clearing. So, okay. Graphical glitch hopefully doesn't incur the penalty. Maybe it will. No, it's back to 5 out of 5. Cool. So Marie and Zane are there. That's absolutely fine. We've got a Peugeot. We've got the 4 3-year-olds. That's all fine. The Timberlake, Hermes, Sky are 3 good youngsters. Cool. I think that is where I'm going to leave it. But a very good, I think, look at how things are in almost exactly 1.5 hours, um, which is way more than I want to do these episodes in. But yeah, so small little bug fixing updates. They are very active. They are active over on Discord as well. So go show them some love. Go wishlist the game. Go join the playtest. But yeah, I think in this save we're starting to see how I can snowball it. We are a few years in the future, and we're not even break even in terms of money after getting all our facilities and buying these horses. So I think the balance isn't too far off. But yeah, I think play for yourself and decide, what you like, what you don't like, etc., and so forth. But I think this is in a good position. I'm kind of enjoying this save. And it's just I don't have an attachment to the races, and that's kind of the only thing there. And I think there needs to be some balance over training rather than being able to select just one thing and it work really, really well and turn you into monster horses a little easily. And some of the prices of horses seem to be wildly fluctuating. I'm not sure why. It might be turned in. Might be tuned because of reputation and who the sires and the dams are and what they've done in terms of on the track. And it seems like maybe those are obfuscated a little more for the AI with the current ability and potential, whereas they're not obfuscated at all for us, which I think they should be a little bit, or we should have a skill called judgment or something, and however good you are at that bar is how accurate your view is of them. Maybe tie it into scouting, maybe have your stable's reputation plus staff ratings influence that a little bit, but majority of it be your skill or your assistant managers, whoever's better. I don't know. I think something like that, though, would be a good idea just to make it a little less easy. Because right now, there's no ambiguity. I know who the best horses are. I know who potentially the best horses are. And then I can see that these 8 horses are the best in the world potentially. And these 2 are way cheaper than the other 6. I'm going to buy those 2. And it's a little immersion breaking slightly for that way. It's good for the gamifying object, but it's not really good for the realism side of things. So a couple of little tweaks that maybe would be nice to add in. But like I say, I'm very happy with where the game is for its stage of development and for such a small studio. Super impressive. And I'm just really enjoying it. And I'm still at the stage where I don't feel like I need to win to have fun and to fall in love with some of these horses. It sure don't hurt. It sure don't hurt. Sirocco, Corral, Weathercaster, I'm already in love with those. And even though they did nothing, Frosty Ethereal, we bought really cheap. We could probably sell for even more. Never won anything or did anything. I just really liked her stats. And yeah, you can see they're okay. Thoughtful wasn't great. We just sold for decent money. But we did get Decrescendo Explorer, who's worth a ton of money out of it. So, yeah, money for breeding and horse sales is really probably the biggest thing that needs tweaking slightly, because it is way too much money for some of these horses. And if you are just breeding like I'm going to be doing, this is how I'm going to be playing this game, I think year in, year out, I should always be able to make a lot of money. And it is viable in real life, and it is viable in other games in this genre. It should be viable in this one. I just don't know if it should be quite as easy as this. But hey, that's my thoughts and opinions. Have your say in the comment section down below. As always, thank you very much for being here and being part of the journey. I hope you're enjoying this look at Horse Racing Manager. Again, thanks to Sheep Meadow Road Games and Andy for reaching out about this one. And I'm very excited to see where it goes. I hope you are too. I'll see you very soon. Until then, take care, stay safe. All the very best to you. Like, comment, subscribe, you know the drill. Check out the memberships and the playlist available on the channel. And we'll dive back into this very, very soon. I'll see you there.